Okay, so I hit somewhat of a speed bump in my ministry tonight. Not really a speed bump, but it was just very unexpected. I'm involved in my church's local ministry. We deal with people who are recovering from addiction and substance abuse. And I'm also involved in another ministry um, called Celebrate Recovery, where we host people who can come give testimonies about some of their hurts, habits, hangups, and it almost functions as like an alcohol anonymous type vibe. Lovely ministry. I love it so much. I really feel blessed to be a part of it and share my ministry, especially because my brother passed away from addiction. He actually passed away from suicide, but he was dealing with addiction, which led to his suicide. So I really love being a part of this ministry. But tonight was just very strange for me. Mostly because for I think I've been a part of this ministry since about August. And for this entire time, most of the people that are involved in the ministry either go to the church or they are part of another Christian based organization. So the guys that come, not all of them are there voluntarily. However, because they are part of this Christian organization, they at least adhere to the rules. Well, we got another group of people who have coming, which is awesome. Love that the ministry is expanding. Love that we're able to reach and connect with more people. However, these people are not affiliated with a Christian organization. They're actually just people from the inner city who also deal with addiction, substance abuse, and different various like habits or vices or whatever the case may be. And it was just very odd having these people come into this church because our meetings are hosted in a church. And like I said, most of the people that come are a part of the church or they're part of another Christian organization. The new group of people that came, um, so again, very blessed to have them. We welcome them. But not everybody is a Christian. Not everybody wants to hear about Christ or God. And it was just something very interesting that I had to kind of like wrestle with. It was very it was very interesting seeing how some people are welcoming to the message of Christ. Some people are eager and willing to hear, you know, about methods that you can approach addictions from a biblical perspective, like a Christ focused recovery type process. Um, but a lot of the people that came just were not interested. In fact, they were getting up, walking out of the sanctuary. We usually have food that we give out to everybody that comes to the meetings at the end of the program. They went out in the lobby of the church, ate the food up, were smoking in the parking lot. And this is not to judge them. Like again, I'm fully aware that not everybody is Christian, but it's just something that I've had to like reconcile with myself. Like, hold on, you are actually a part of a ministry that is reaching out to people who may not have heard the gospel, who may not have a relationship with Christ, who may not be interested. And it just hit me today that that is something that I'm really wrestling with. Like, I remember working at Old Navy when I was in high school. I worked at both Old Navy and the Gap. And if you ever worked at Old Navy, you know that they are big on pushing credit cards. In fact, I worked at Circuit City as well. Circuit City was another one, big on pushing credit cards. And I've always had a mindset of if you want it, you're going to get it. Like I've never been one to try to persuade or influence you into doing something that you just felt like was not for you or not meant for you. And I kind of feel that same way with my role in ministry, and I shouldn't. Like I don't know. it's so weird for me to try to influence somebody or push or persuade somebody to listen to the gospel. Now, granted, I'll share my testimony, which I've been doing, especially on my social media, especially on TikTok. I'm happy to talk about my relationship with Christ. I'm happy to talk about, the things that I know regarding the Bible, but I just never feel led or influenced to reach out to people who are kind of resistant to that. In fact, that I'm so glad that God did not put that like mantle on me. I don't know if I could take street ministry. God bless the people who have that calling on their life because I just don't know if I have that in me, to go out in the streets and really try to call out to people and bring them into the church, bring them to Christ. And again, just seeing today how disconnected and uninterested and indifferent a lot of the people that came to the meeting were was kind of jarring for me. And it was the first time that I've seen it, especially in this ministry that I'm involved in. Like I said, even the guys that come that are a part of the other Christian organization, they may not want to participate, but because they are a part of a Christian organization where it's a part of their recovery, and if they want to finish out successfully, they have to at least be respectful and, participate, um, at the bare minimum. That's one thing. But just to see people just be completely disengaged and uninterested, and part of this is making me feel a bit naive. Like, I know that there's people out there who are resistant to the word of God. I completely understand that. But I think I've just been in a Christian bubble over the last year or so, especially in regards to ministry, because I made it a point over the last year or so to really get involved in the church, to really participate in the church and like in ministry. And up until tonight, I've been working with people who, even if they're new converts, they at least have come to Christ and they at least want to try to do this thing outright. But to work so closely with people who were just completely disengaged, it was a bit jarring for me. And that is something that I'm going to have to work on. And it's something I'm definitely going to have to pray about because I don't want to have any feelings of like contempt or um I don't really know what like how like what I'm feeling right now. It's not that I'm like disgusted or like I'm not even shocked. It's something that I fully expect, but just to see it, just to actually work with it. It was just very interesting. And again, I have friends who are not Christians who don't want to talk about the Bible if I bring it up. And my solution always has been, okay, like I'll share what I share, but if you shut it down, I'm going to shut it down. I'm not going to want to engage at all until you bring it up. And so I'm just figuring out how does that work within a Christian ministry, within a space where it's like our goal is to reach out. Our goal is to help these people towards their recovery from a Christ focused standpoint or perspective. And it's like, how does that work? How does that look? So yeah, I don't know. It just really caught me off guard. Um, if you are in street ministry, I would love to hear like your thoughts on this. I actually recently read How to Tell the Truth, Preston Perry's book. And Preston Perry's an evangelist, and that's something that he's well versed in. He's well versed in having these conversations with people who may not really be into it, or looking for Christ in the moment. And something that I read from that book, he was essentially the essence of that book is him saying, "Hey, you can't try to model your evangelism after another person. Your evangelism is going to be personal to you and to how God, whatever characteristics God placed in you." And so I'm really trying to honor that. I'm really not trying to be too caught up in my own feelings or be too standoffish, but it's also like how how do you even approach it if the way that I handle it outside of the Christian ministry is to just completely, I don't want to say wash my hands, but it's just like you'll talk to me about it when you're ready. I'm just gonna leave it alone. So yeah, I don't know. It caught me off guard, I will say. Um I really want to know how other people are handling evangelism. If you have not read How to Tell the Truth by Preston Perry, I would highly recommend it. It's a great book. I read it in like 1 day, 2 days. It's really, really good. And I have been trying to keep that in mind. Like, do what I can do. God is not looking for me to be somebody that I'm not. So yeah, I'm just praying for those people. I pray that next week when we go to our ministry that more people are open, more people are willing to listen to the message of the cross. I pray that, even outside of my ministry, I pray that people are just preparing their hearts because I mean, look around the world like it's just like there is enough going on in the world where it should be turning your hearts to God, to a higher being, preferably Jesus Christ, if you know what's good for you. Especially because everything that we see happening in the world is pointing to the Bible. It's literally confirming everything that was said in the Bible. That's neither here nor there, but yeah, I'm praying for everybody who's like really wrestling with, um, just wrestling with that and really trying to find healing and trying to find purpose and peace. And so, yeah, anyways, I just wanted to vent those thoughts really quick before while they were on my brain. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Demarcus. You can find me on TikTok mostly. Um, Same name. Bye. Okay, this is crazy. So I'm at work. I definitely was praying about everything I said earlier in my video. Um, but I get to work and I start cleaning up and I'm doing a little bit of mopping. And I decided to listen to Lamentations since that's something that we were studying earlier in our message. And then, of course, when Lamentations ends, it goes straight into Ezekiel. So I get to Ezekiel chapter 2, and this is what it reads. He said to me, Son of man, stand up on your feet, and I will speak with you. As he spoke to me, the Spirit entered me and set me on my feet, and I listened to the one who was speaking to me. He said to me, Son of man, I am sending you to the Israelites, the rebellious pagans who have rebelled against me. The Israelites and their ancestors have transgressed against me to this day. The descendants are obstinate and hard hearted. I'm sending you to them, and you must say to them, This is what the Lord says. Whether they listen or refuse to listen, for they are a rebellious house, they will know a prophet has been among them. But you, son of man, do not be afraid of them, and do not be afraid of their words. Even though briars and thorns are beside you, and you live among scorpions, do not be afraid of their words or discouraged by the looks on their faces, for they are a rebellious house. Speak my words to them, whether they listen or refuse to listen, for they are rebellious. And you, son of man, listen to what I tell you. Do not be rebellious like that rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat what I'm giving you. So I looked, and I saw a hand reaching out to me, and there was a written scroll in it. When he unrolled it before me, it was written on the front and the back, words of lamentation, mourning, and woe were written on it. Sorry, I'm sick right now. Oh my gosh, I've been sniffling all night. It's very irritating. But I say all that to say, I just thought it was so crazy that I was having those thoughts earlier today, wrestling with, just apathy or like dealing with people who are just indifferent to the word and dealing with people who may not want to hear what you have to say, the good news that you are bringing or the warnings that you are bringing from God. And God is still like, hey, whether they listen or not, I'm still sending you for a reason because you need to be that person that is going to say this to them and they will have no excuse at that point. They've had warnings. They've had somebody who is preaching to them good news and solutions to their problems and the way of healing and that way out of whatever they're dealing with. And whether or not they listen, that's not really what I'm sending you for. I'm sending you so that they can hear it regardless. So I don't know. I just thought it was crazy. Like, you know how you hear like a message and you feel like, oh dang, I feel like God is like directly speaking to me. That's how I felt when I was listening to it as I was like mopping the floors just a second ago. I was just like, oh, okay, God, I got it. But yeah, I don't know. Just thought that was crazy.